Evnia. This is the new gaming line from Philips that was just announced. More than just monitors, Evnia will include all of the other necessary peripherals to fill out a battle station. Keyboards, mice, headsets, and even mouse pads. And I wouldn't be surprised if the line expands beyond those products as well in the future. Because of the elegant design of these products though, it's not meant just for gamers. Many of these Evnia products would also fit really well alongside Apple products. And we got to go hands-on with some pre-production examples of these products, so let's dive in, take a closer look, and see what Evnia is all about. Hey everyone, I'm Jordan with 9 to 5 Toys, and first up, a huge thanks to Philips and Evnia for taking me out to Paris to actually be a part of this launch event. They really went all out hosting the event there at the stadium in Paris, and it was really just a very fun event to launch this new line from Philips. And during the presentation, there was a lot of emphasis on how the gamer or the average gamer is a little bit more grown up now, and also a big emphasis on inclusivity. In Philips research, the average age of gamers these days is closer to 30 years old. And that also means that maybe they have a bit more money in their pocket, are willing to spend a little bit more for higher performance, but also a more pleasing aesthetic and just a little bit more of a premium product overall. Philips is also banking on a new software package which will be able to control all these different peripherals and monitors, and they also hope that it will be a little bit easier to use than some of the competitors that get a little bit of flack for how kind of difficult those can be sometimes. And eventually, Evnia will span a few different series of products. Eventually, there will be an entry-level 3000, but what we were able to look at this launch event were some pre-production examples of some products from the 5000 series, 7000, and 8000. And currently, the range's names is a little bit confusing just because it was all these new series and products. I had a little bit of a hard time keeping track of what's what when we were actually trying them out, but hopefully with more time, there'll be a little bit more clarity for that. So first off, let's talk about the design language, because really this is one of the biggest selling features of the entire Evnia product line. The lower end series will have a darker color scheme. It's not quite black. It's almost like a gunmetal gray or something like that. Well, as some of the higher end series will have a brighter, it's also not quite white, I don't think. It was a little bit hard to tell in the dark room there, but it's definitely a brighter aesthetic that really did look really sharp. And most of these products feature what I would call a kind of polygon-inspired shape to it. There are these little quads on the back, this kind of polygonal shape that actually, in my opinion, looks pretty sharp. And another core component here of the entire Evnia line is Ambighlow lighting, their RGB lighting that will pretty much be a part of every single peripheral, even the mouse pad. And on the monitors, this is basically the same thing as what we saw on the back of the Philips Momentum monitor that we took a look at earlier this year. Hit that video up here if you want to check out that review. And so basically, instead of like an RGB strip, there are little bare LED lights on the back that handle the RGB. And lighting can be set to either static modes or reactive modes that will interact with what's going on your screen. And I couldn't quite get a feel for it during this event, but I do remember with the Philips Momentum monitor, the reactive modes were never quite fast enough to really increase immersion. It always seemed like it was a little bit delayed from what was happening on the screen and almost detracted from the gameplay a little bit, in my opinion. So I pretty much always left that on static. So the jury's still out on that with the Evnia line, but I'm hoping that we see something a little bit quicker there, a little bit more reactive. But overall, the monitors themselves have a very pleasing look to them. They really do look like a premium gaming monitor, and I think that will be reflected in the price as well. Everything is very easy to adjust. They can go up and down very easily. The stands are nice and elegant. Everything here looked really sharp. It would be a great, centerpiece for a studio setup or for a working desk setup as well. And the first products that will be available for purchase from this new gaming line are the monitors. Mainly, there will be one that will be available for purchase first, and that is the 34 M2C 7600MV. Yeah, that's quite a mouthful of a name. With mini LED backlighting and 1,152 zones, this curved 34-inch ultra-wide 3440 by 1440 display supports up to a ridiculous 1400 nits of brightness when HDR is turned on. And those high-end specs also continue with up to a 165 Hz refresh rate. While not as high as some displays these days, and not the highest in the entire Evnia lineup, the combination of resolution, brightness, and refresh rate is all really impressive. But unfortunately, that is going to come at a price of $1,800. That is the current pricing that has been announced. And this monitor will be available yet this year, I believe, in December maybe. So that will be coming out pretty soon. Additionally, there will be 3 more monitors that will be available in January of 2023. And let's walk through those really quick. The Evnia 42 M2N 8900, which is coming in at $1,600, is a 42-inch OLED monitor with HDR10, a 0.1 millisecond grade of gray, 90-watt USB-C power delivery, and a kind of odd 138 Hz refresh rate. That's not very common. Next up is the 34 M2C 8600, a 34-inch curved QD OLED monitor, and that is priced at $1,500. Also packing a 3440 by 1440p resolution, this display features HDR 400 True Black, thanks to that QD OLED display, along with a 175 Hz refresh rate, 0.1 millisecond grade of gray, and also USB-C 90-watt power delivery. And this display had a truly impressive contrast when we were actually using this. So this will be a lot of fun to get my hands on more and try out some more because that display was just really beautiful. And lastly, the most affordable of the bunch is the 579 euro, not quite sure on the US dollar price yet, 27 M2C 5500W. And this 27-inch curved 1440p monitor uses a VA panel and packs a 240 Hz refresh rate. Again, these monitors are pre-production examples, but there was a significant amount of ghosting in this pre-production display that we saw at the launch event. So once again, we'll have to wait until we can actually get one in-house and kind of see how it performs in real-world situations. Yeah, definitely looking to check that out because at this price point for those specs, there's definitely some stiff competition there. Okay, so those are the monitors. The Evnia line will also include other peripherals as well. So first up, let's talk about some of the keyboards. Now we'll have to wait to really get a good idea of what the production versions of these keyboards will look and feel like. All of these peripherals will be released around June of 2023. The boards we were able to try at the launch event were all full-sized, but are of course pre-production models. Depending on the series, the boards either have proprietary Philips Evnia switches or a more industry standard Cherry MX setup. The design of the keyboards was really elegant and simple. It's not, the overly gaudy, ridiculous gaming keyboard. I didn't see a ton of extra macros or anything like that. One feature that I did really enjoy was that the scroll wheel or the volume wheel in the upper right kind of illuminates. I thought that was a really nice touch. And really just the entire piece did look premium. Once again, we'll have to wait for pricing to see how this really performs compared to everything else because this is a very competitive market. Going up against the big brand name titans like Corsair, Razer, SteelSeries, and HyperX, it'll be interesting to see where this kind of fits in there as far as price and performance. And likewise with the mice, it was also hard to get a real feel for what these are going to be. They are elegant pieces though with the same polygonal shape that feels comfortable in the hand. All of the examples I was able to get my hands on, though, were relatively heavy in my opinion. I would say north of 100 grams. Now, that's not a bad thing for all users, but for me personally, I've really been enjoying lightweight gaming mice recently. The Death Adder V3 Pro has been just an absolute blast to use recently. So once again, depending on price, it'll be interesting to see where this fits compared to all of the really stiff competition when it comes to gaming mice. From what we could see there didn't seem to be anything that really set them apart as far as, performance or like crazy buttons or like crazy specs or features or anything like that. So we'll just have to wait and see for what June brings. And it's a similar story with the headsets as well. Without any real info on pricing yet, where do these fit, against all the stiff competition that we've been seeing this year? There have been a lot of great headset releases this year. So we'll have to wait till we can really compare them to see how they perform. The Philips Fidelio X3 are like probably my favorite headphones right now. I use those all the time for listening to music and for even editing videos. So hopefully some of that, gets transferred over. I will say that when it comes to comfort, I found that the Evnia headsets had lots of room in the ear cups, which is something similar that the Philips Fidelio X3 had, which is great for me. There's plenty of room in there. I don't think that your ears are going to be rubbing up against the driver covers like some other gaming headsets have done recently. So definitely excited to check that out. But it's really hard to, make a call on whether or not this is going to be a really good headset or not because This is so far away from launch when they'll actually be shipping, and we don't know pricing, so we'll just have to wait on those as well. From what I could tell with audio, they sounded good. It was a fun gaming experience. Plenty of clarity in the high end, when we were playing. I was playing Spider-Man, also played some F1 in 2022, I think. So I think that they will have a good sound to them, but we just can't really make that big of a call right now when they are so far from launch. So overall, I think Evnia is a really exciting launch. I love the design aesthetic that kind of mixes, the battle station and workstation aesthetics. As a gamer in my mid-30s who doesn't really want a crazy, angular, aggressive-looking keyboard or monitor anymore with all these, extra doodads and things that just make it look more gamery, I really appreciate where Philips and Evnia are going with this. That being said, from what we can tell with the monitors, that is coming at a premium, compared to the competition with similar specs. So we'll have to wait to see when these actually start shipping and get our hands on them and see how they really perform in the real world. But there's going to be some stiff competition there, and you might be paying a little bit more for that premium aesthetic. And when it comes to the peripherals, it's just too early to tell how these are going to perform. With launch being so far out for those shipping, we'll really just have to wait and see how these perform. I fear that the performance and features won't live up to the price when compared to the competition, but hopefully I'm wrong because from what I can tell, they look nice and feel nice. So we'll just have to wait and see. All right, and that's going to do it for this video, kind of intro to Evnia. Thanks again to Philips and Evnia for taking me out to Paris to be a part of the event. That was a lot of fun. If you do any others, please invite me again. I'd love to be a part of it. Really looking forward to seeing what else comes from Evnia and actually getting our hands on them to see how they perform and where they fit in this very, very competitive gaming space. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up so others can find it easier and consider subscribing. This is Jordan with 9to5 Toys.